Welcome back to Sakura Gamer. The last episode was a bit on the serious side as Nekohime and Suki had a very serious heart-to-heart conversation, but they understand each other a bit better, and now everyone is friends in their bikinis out in the backyard. Though we, as Nekohime, are annoyed at Clover, she does raise a good point. I have to wonder why I agreed to this myself. My bikini is an old frilly thing I fished out of the back of a drawer. I don't know why I even have a bikini. I'm not exactly the sun and sea type. I was so busy with work I didn't have enough free time to take trips to the beach. And even if I had, I would have preferred to sit inside. The only tan I want is a tan bestowed upon me by the flickering screen of a computer. That's a good line.
Cancer. You want cancer.
I can feel the sunlight against my skin. It's baking me like a potato.
It's just a different cancer.
It doesn't feel good. I can't remember the last time I exposed this much flesh to the harsh, unforgiving light of day. If this keeps up, I might turn into dust and blow away. My remains will be scattered on the winds. R.I.P.
Rest in peace, Nekohime. She was a curmudgeonly biatch up until the end.
But Clover and Suki don't seem to mind. They both lie down on the grass below. They both lie down on the grass, slowly tanning their bodies beneath the sun.
Join us, Nekohime. This feels great. Yeah, you're gonna snort ants if you lie directly on the grass.
I'm not so sure.
Don't be so hesitant. The sunshine's good for you.
But what if I melt?
You won't melt, silly. That's not how human bodies work. And if you do, I'll have to get Clover to do the writing and the programming for a visual novel. What, me? Do the writing?
You can't. She has no sense of pacing, and her characterization leaves a lot to be desired.
Oh? How'd you know that?
We used to roleplay a little back in the day. We did meet on an RP forum.
We tried to anyway, but Nekohime always got mad at me and said I was doing it wrong. How can you roleplay wrong?
She just wasn't very convincing. Her world building was flat, her characters were inconsistent.
So you were hard to please even as a kid?
Well, I'm sorry for having standards. Jesus, fuck.
It's okay, Nekohime. I'll keep far, far away from your magnum opus.
It's not like I'm taking the story too seriously, but I am. More than I would like to admit. Nah. I will say that is one thing that I can't do, because of all the writing I've done, I always have trouble just relaxing with a story. When I'm writing it, I take it too seriously. And I need to get over that. I've grown quite protective of this visual novel over the last few days, even if it is a silly idea. It must be because I'm stubborn. When I start writing a script, I want to finish it all my way. Exactly. After doing some research, I learned a lot of visual novels are actually written by teams of 2, 3, sometimes up to 4 or 5 people. One writer handles the common route and a couple of the key character routes, while the remaining routes are divvied up among the other writers. It's probably the most practical way to go about it. If you have to write a script over 1 million words long, okay, that probably would be characters at that point, 1 million characters long, some visual novels are ridiculously huge, and you have a tight deadline, you might need to get other hands on deck. It's not possible for one person to write that much, but splitting a story between so many people has drawbacks.
Stephen King would disagree with you.
It can make the tone. It can make the tone of the routes inconsistent, or the characters' personalities might change slightly. Some writers rely more heavily on internal monologue, others favor dialogue, and others like long extended similes. It can make the entire story lopsided, like a cake that hasn't risen right.
Speaking of long and convoluted similes...
Multiple writers isn't an issue here, though. The script is going to be short, so I can handle it all myself. I will handle it all myself.
Anyway, Nekohime, come and sunbathe with us.
But I'll get tanned.
That is the general idea, yes, but I'll look like Maurice. It'll give your skin a healthy glow.
What if I don't want to look healthy? But despite my protests...
Wish granted.
I still lie down beside Clover and Suki. Aw. I'm curious what resolution they draw the art at. Because this is, zoomed in, and we record at 720p, and the lines are clean. There's no aliasing.
It actually looks like they drew just different facial features over the same sprite. In terms of, like, from the shoulders up.
I think that's how they do it, isn't it? Like, they...
I was wondering why they looked a little bit same-facey, but yeah, their cheeks are the same consistency. There's different line weight to make them look different, but, like...
Right.
It looks like they drew over the same basic template.
Well, if I remember right, that's how they usually at least do this part of the art, because that way you can use any face expressions you want. It's like layering. Like,
yes,
the ladies are blank face. They just slap some eyeballs
If
on
I
them.
ever get, like, good enough and froggy enough to do a visual novel, I'll have to remember that technique.
Yeah, because it's better than having to redraw a separate sprite in its entirety every time you want to change faces. But I'm curious what resolution they draw.
They definitely draw different boob weights for each character, but, like...
Yes. Well, like, each character would be different.
Yes.
Would be drawn differently in its entirety. But then the face would be blank and they would just slap a face on it. But I still want to know, like, what resolution they draw on.
Yes.
Because that's detailed line work, despite the fact that it's zoomed in on 720p and you're watching it from a television
like, you can
monitor.
see shine on the ears of Suki's headphones. You can see shine on Nekohime's glasses.
Yes. It's decent art.
Yeah.
At least that part of it is. They're not being ridiculous. Anyway, my new work colleagues? No, that sounds far too stilted. What about friends? Yes. I think friends is a far more accurate description. Aw. Clover, lying on my right, takes hold of one hand. Suki on my left takes the other. We lie there for a while in still silence, beneath the warm rays of the summer sun. Clover, Suki, and me. Our hands linked. Our futures, too. Oh, you guys.
Yes? What is it?
Let's put everything into this visual novel, alright? I don't want us to have any regrets.
Wow, this is unusually sappy coming from you.
I can't help it, I want this to be special.
It already is special, silly.
What?
It's special because the three of us are together. That's right, let's keep doing our very best.
Right. I look between Suki and Clover and my lips, oh, Jesus.
It's okay, I'm doing the same thing.
No, that's what, 4 or 5 Freudians at this point? My lips quirk upward. I would like to, anyway, my lips quirk upward into a small smile. As seems to be happening a lot lately. Much, much more than it ever used to. Being with these two girls really does make me happy.
Scrub the mildew! We need to put oil in your hair, otherwise it's gonna get moldy too!
Why is this happening?
Isn't it obvious, silly Nekohime?
Yeah, I stink, isn't it? Suki runs a hand. It's because fuck it. Suki runs a hand through my hair, soaping it with shampoo. I shiver.
We were sitting outside in the garden. Now we need to clean up.
But why are you only cleaning me?
'Cause Nekohime, you're the stinkiest. You're bad at cleaning up after yourself.
You make me sound like a naughty cat.
Now that's quite the apt analogy.
Droplets of water from the shower head fall against my exposed skin. I can feel rivulets cascading across my clavicles and the curve of my breasts. It feels like fingertips caressing my body. In fact, fingertips are caressing my body. Suki is standing behind me, rubbing the arch of my back with a sponge. Clover, meanwhile, has the shower head pointed at my front. This is so embarrassing. Being showered by 2 other women, hemmed in between them like the filling of a sandwich. Ugh. Really is shameful. My face flushes. To make matters worse, I can't see very well. My red-rimmed glasses have been removed, leaving me exposed in more ways than one sense of the word. Without my glasses, I'm completely helpless. Jinkies, the world around me blurs into an indistinct haze of pastel colors and running water. I can't see without my glasses.
It's fine, Nekohime. You don't need to see.
But,
We'll take care of you.
Suki leans in a little closer. I feel her damp hair brushing against the nape of my neck. She whispers softly into the shell of my ear. What? Her breathing tickling my skin.
Very good care of you.
Suki. My whole body trembles.
We'll be finished in no time, Nekohime. When we're together, we're an unstoppable team.
What does this have to do with showering me?
I'm not sure. I was going for a cool but heartwarming angle, like, even if you can't see, we can be your eyes. That's right. Individually, we may have flaws, but together we can make up for one another's weaknesses.
Yeah. I twitch. Suki continues to soap my back with the sponge while Clover rubs soap into my chest. The friction isn't actually that bad. It's kind of nice.
You know, this would be a lot easier if you washed yourself properly, Nekohime. Look at it. One swipe of the sponge and you're already missing like so much dead skin.
I can wash myself properly.
The last time you tried, you kept your clothes on and your glasses.
I just didn't want to take them off. That's a pain.
Well, it's a good thing you have us. Yeah, I didn't want to hurt your feelings, but this is like the 5th sponge I've gone through. We'll come to your aid whenever you need a helping hand.
Yeah. Clover's fingers. They're massaging my chest. She's rubbing soap against the soft curve of my breasts, creating a lather of multicolored soap suds.
How can you see that?
I look at her dazedly, my eyes half-lidded. I can hardly see properly. Everything is blurry. But I do know how this feels. It feels good. Really good.
Do you like it, Nekohime?
Clover's voice is soft and unusually sensual. It makes the hairs at the back of my neck stand up. I like it.
It's not too intense, is it?
I shift. The combined sensation of the water against my skin and Clover's roaming fingertips is almost a little too much. I rub my thighs together. Why does it feel so warm? It feels funny.
A good kind of funny?
I think it's good. I think I'm not used to feeling like this. Clover's fingers squeeze one of my... Really? Sure. Man up, Pyro! Clover's fingers squeeze one of my nipples. I arch my back and mew helplessly. Yeah! I'm completely at her mercy, and yet, at the same time, I don't care. I don't care, but...
Hey, it's no fun if you hog her all to yourself, Clover.
Yeah? A jolt of electricity courses through my whole body. If I were a cat, my tail would be standing up on end. Suki, her fingers, she's tickling the underside of my feet. That was a good setup.
Yes.
Well done. +1 Winged Cloud or whoever wrote this. Talk about a sneak attack. That isn't fair.
All's fair in love and war.
But we're cramped together in the shower. I can't escape.
That's the best part.
You beast. I look at Clover. Her features blur together, but I can more or less tell who she is. That wide smile is a dead giveaway, even if the large breasts and messy ponytail isn't. Clover, please help me!
I'm sorry, Nekohime, but seeing you squirm is too much fun.
Whatever happened to the power of friendship? This is horrible.
Aww.
Yeah, so horrible. A few days pass. We now have precisely 10 days left until the summer manga market, and the three of us are making reasonably good time. I've written 6 scenes, bringing the word count to a respectable 20,000 characters.
Nice.
Alright. It's been a long time since I've written anything fictional. I used to roleplay with Clover a lot, but it yielded poor results. I hated relinquishing my fictional worlds to Clover so she could ham-fistedly insert her own characters into my universe. It caused me unimaginable pain. Roleplaying is supposed to be a joint activity. In theory, anyway. It was a theory, however. I was never quite able to master. I was too much of a control freak. Being the sole writer on this team is liberating. Finally, I can make my characters say what I want, do what I want, act like I want, and Clover isn't here to get in the way. Clover's never been very good at writing. She didn't take it seriously. Her characters' speech patterns were inconsistent, their backstories were nebulous, and their interpersonal relationships changed at the drop of a hat. Sometimes she even got their names mixed up. Well, I won't make any amateur mistakes.
Clover Tara Gillespie.
I don't know who that is.
She wrote My Immortal.
Oh. I'm halfway through the proposed 40,000 character script already, and I have the rest of the scenes planned out. Now the crucial scenes are all blocked in, all 15 of them. I can finally give Suki a list of the assets required to make my vision into a reality.
Wait. You were bitching at Suki for not having her shit done, but she was waiting on you the whole time?
Firstly, I prepared a list of the pieces of background art we need. Because we have less than 2 weeks to create a finished product, I tried to reduce the number of background assets needed as much as possible. I tried to set the story. I'm sorry, I just realized that's what they're doing right now, which is why we're staring at the clouds. I tried to set the story in a small handful of locations to reduce the need for background art. According to Suki, background art is one of the most tedious and time-consuming parts of the job. And sadly, it's the least appreciated.
I like the background art.
Most people don't notice the backgrounds in visual novels unless they're incredibly ugly or exceptionally pretty. Otherwise, they're just there. Too much background art could slow production down by weeks, maybe even months, so I had to be sparse. I've managed to whittle the number of backgrounds needed down to 6, which should be enough for her to handle. Suki also needs to work on the CGs, too. Or in layman's terms, computer graphics, for all those laymen out there. In a visual novel... Alright, we're gonna keep describing parts of visual novels in the next episode. I was hoping she'd be done by now, because we're over 15.
Such a blowhard
but
windbag.
Thank you all very much for watching. We will see you tomorrow for another episode.
I wonder if she gets up in the middle of the night to yodel on the roof just to get it all out of her system.